Greetings folks, and I hope you're all in the pipe 5x5 wherever you are in collecting land. And welcome back to the channel for another unboxing and review. But no ordinary unboxing and review this one, no. Today it's the turn of something a little bit different and a little bit on the large side. Yes folks, it's XM Studios 1/3 scale Alien Warrior diorama. But before we dive in to these big chap size boxes, I'd like to send a massive shout out to everyone who supported the channel. And please drop a like on this review as it helps other people find Go Figure. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you don't miss any of the action figure and statue related goodness that we've got coming up. I would also like to send a very special shout out to fellow collector Keith for providing me with this piece and quite literally going that extra mile to make sure it arrived safely. Keith kindly provided the custom Prometheus engineer statue which we reviewed recently on the channel, and there'll be a link to that review at the end of this one. If you want to check it out, there'll be a link to Keith's eBay page in the description below, so if you want to check out any of the other stuff that he's got, we'll pop that in there. So XM, based in Singapore, they released this piece, this Alien diorama piece, about 4 or 5 years ago, with a limited edition run of 200, but this one has never been out of the box and never displayed. There's a few firsts here for Go Figure. It's the first XM Studios piece I've ever owned, so virgin territory for me, and it's the first ever 1/3 scale piece in my collection. Yes, I know, hard to believe, but Mr. Go Figure is breaking his 1/3 scale duck right here today. A lot of things appeal to me about this diorama. Its size, obviously, the fact that it's not just a straight up straight down statue, but most of all it's XM Studios artistic interpretation of the work of H.R. Giger and a bit of Stan Winston as well. But enough of my ramblings, on to these huge boxes, and heavy boxes they are as well. Now, normally what we do at this point is I would attempt to manhandle these boxes around so we can take a look around them, but as you can imagine, these are way too big, way too heavy for that, so you're gonna have to take my word for it. What you've got on the front here is a shot of the main head, of the main part of the figure itself, the main Alien Warrior section of the diorama. Very nicely photographed and lit there. It's the same on both boxes. You've got Alien on the side there, on the left hand side, and your warnings at the bottom there. You're gonna have to take my word for it. On the top, it's very, very simple. It just says Alien. Around the sides, it just says XM Studios. And on the back, you've got the usual credits and warnings and so on. Don't piss this diorama off, or it may just have to nuke the site from orbit. What we will do though is we're going to get the lids off these boxes, go handheld and have a look inside. Okay folks, so humongous boxes opened, and what you are greeted with is what we normally come to expect with quarter scale, third scale, half scale statues, is a polystyrene container, a split polystyrene container with the straps on there, some nice XM Studio straps. Once you remove that lid, you are greeted with the contents of the boxes themselves. Now, XM Studios described this piece as supreme scale. To us mere mortals, that's 1/3 scale. You get a set of instructions, and this is one hefty set of instructions. There's a lot going on here, and there is a reason for that. In the bigger of the two boxes over here, you've got the diorama base, and there are a lot of pieces going on here. I think there's about 30 to 40 pieces for construction with this particular statue, which sort of separates it out from your average 3rd scale statue, which tends to come in 2 or 3 pieces. But that's the boxes and that's the contents. So what we will do next is we will construct this bad boy, and I'm pretty certain you don't want to watch an old man fiddling around and getting angry trying to put a statue together for 40 minutes, so we will cut to the complete piece. Okay folks, so construction process complete, and this is a lot of firsts. As I mentioned at the top there, we've got some firsts going on here. First 3rd scale figure in the collection, the first time we've ever not been able to actually review a piece over on the table itself. The table is simply not capable of taking the weight of this piece. This is a huge piece and exceptionally heavy. Yeah, and as I said, the table couldn't take its weight, let alone a turntable. So we are actually filming in situ. This is where the statue's going to find its new home, and literally due to the size and the weight, had to be built in situ. And talking of size and weight, this thing has some incredible statistics. It measures from top to bottom, 31 inches tall. From lengthways, from back to front, you're looking at 35 inches, and the width of the widest point there is 20 inches long, and it weighs in at a mind-blowing 30 kilograms or thereabouts. So this is one huge and heavy piece. Just to give you an idea of the kind of scale that we're looking at here, I thought what we'd do is bring in, and if I can get him to stand up, this is the Necker quarter scale big chap. Now this guy is no slouch himself, and you can see there he is just dwarfed by this piece from XM Studios. And if you really want to go crazy on scale, let's bring in the Hot Toys Alien Warrior, and that gives you an idea of the size that we're looking at here. This is a huge piece. Fortunately, the construction process, it's a lengthy one. It's not overly complicated though, because the vast majority of the pieces here are color coded, and it does come, as I mentioned in the previous section, it comes with this really nice instruction manual and assemblage handbook. It's done in really nice high stock card, and everything is color coded, and step-by-step instructions on how to build this monstrosity, and it's just very nicely presented. And probably worth mentioning at this point as well, in this book there are some credits, as I remember, if I can find them now on camera. This is the Law of Sod, and maybe they're on the back. No, they're not. Yeah, okay, well, we'll there it is. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the man responsible for the sculpt here. Now, if I'm butchering this name, bear with me, but it's Narin Ergudom, and I've got to say, if you're watching by some miracle or listening, Narin, you have done some outstanding work here. But yeah, construction process relatively straightforward, if a little time consuming, and what you are left with is this huge beast of a figure. So if we're talking about first, let's talk about first impressions. First impressions are absolutely amazing. They really are. What strikes me first, apart from the size and the weight, obviously, is the concept that XM have gone for here. I absolutely love it. You've got that sort of huge base going on there, and I've heard it described as a hive base. Now, personally, I don't think it is. I think what we're looking at here is more an alien derelict from the original Alien film, a Giger-inspired base going on there, but we'll take a close-up look at that. Then you've got this alien warrior leaping out from the diorama itself and being trodden on unceremoniously by this other alien warrior who is standing on his head and coming forward in this in this action pose. And I've got to say, the dynamics and the concept are phenomenal, and what they've done at XM here is, rather than slavishly replicate a big chap or an alien warrior from either of the two films, I think what they've done here is they've gone for an artistic take on the whole concept of the alien, rather than just, as I say, slavishly adhere to one particular concept. Worth mentioning the accessories at this point as well. I say accessories, that's these are swap out portions of this particular piece. It comes with swap out mouths. Now, there's a smaller one in the Alien Warrior's mouth that's being trodden on, larger one in this particular headpiece. You get 3 in total, and they're all just really well done. All done in polystone, obviously, all magnetic, so you can swap and change out as you feel fit, and the paint and sculpt is really nice to give it that super wet gloss look, and you've got hints of silver and gold in the teeth area, which we'll see more of when we take a wander around this piece. So yeah, swap out mouths, but probably the most important swap out feature on this is the swap out head sculpt. Now, this is where, as I mentioned previously, that you see the two concepts colliding, the two worlds of alien and aliens colliding here, because the major swap out piece for this is the head for the alien here. Now I've currently got on what I call the alien head, which is far more in keeping with Giger's original concept for the '79 Ridley Scott directed Alien, although some would argue that it doesn't fit with this body, because obviously this body is more in keeping with the Alien Warrior, with those sort of high shoulder pad areas going on there. But you do get this huge, and it gives you an idea of the scale of the heads here, you get this swap out head. Now this is obviously based more on the Stan Winston designed Alien Warrior head from Aliens itself. And I thought we'd just take a quick look at this so you can get an idea of the sculpt and the paintwork here. Absolutely incredible work going on here. The level of detailing is fantastic, it really is. And what really strikes me is the paint applications here. You've got that super wet look, that super high gloss, and you've got browns, greys, blacks. You've got that piping almost in the neck area there, if the camera's catching this. It shades down into browns at the end of the head there. You've got those ridges across the top and at the sides as well. It pegs directly into the neck there. And although it looks like it's not going to hold, it does. It holds it very, very securely. And you've got this superb mouth area. Now, once again, you've got that sort of combination of those reds and golds in that teeth area, the recess at the back there for whichever mouth you decide to use, and overall, yeah, and it's incredibly tactile. Just holding this thing, it makes you want to touch it. It is just beautifully done, really, really beautifully done, and I can't for the life of me decide which one I think's the best. I convinced myself prior to buying this piece that I was going to that this was the better of the two head sculpts. But we'll take a look at that one. But having swapped it out with this, I cannot decide which one I prefer the most. But as I say, we'll take a look at the '79 head sculpt, as I'm going to call it, when we have a wander around. So yeah, that's the swap out head sculpt. So because of the sheer size of this thing, we're going to do this review slightly differently. We're going to go handheld, because I'm going to need to reposition this beast on its stand so we can have a wander around and have an up-close look at the details. Okay folks, so position one, this is the left-hand side, the left aspect of this statue, and I've got to say this is my preferred view of this. We'll take a close-up look at the right-hand side as well, but we'll probably realise why. But let's get up close with this base. Let's start with this base, and straight away, it's the level of detailing here that it's absolutely on point. It really, really is. The sculpt can't be faulted, I don't think. As I mentioned in the previous section there, this base itself has a Nostromo stroke derelict feel to it. Well, it's a derelict feel, not Nostromo obviously, but it's got that derelict feel to it, with the shape and if a camera can catch that protrusion at the back, and there's two of those, there's one around the other side. I'm having to lean over here, so if I sound a bit short of breath, bear with me. But yeah, the detailing and the sculpt work on this base are phenomenal, and it's an unusual shape. You've got these sort of tubes running up the side, then it's arced over the back, and we'll take a look at it from the rear as well. And it's just a phenomenal level of detailing here. Now the paint applications themselves, and this is rather unusual, I was a little bit reticent regarding some of the paint apps on this. What you've got here is quite a lot of gold going on. Now I thought, maybe there's too much, and maybe the paint applications aren't the best. There's a lot of flecking going on, but the shading is really, really nice. And actually, up close and personal, in hand, so to speak, I think this gold paint application actually works. And the reason why it works, for me anyway, is the contrast that you have to the paint applications on the two aliens themselves. Now, this is obviously the bottom alien here, the one that's being trodden on. And straight away you've got that super wet look, high gloss finish going on. There are blues in there, there are greys, there are browns, there are blacks. The level of detailing is phenomenal. If I can get the camera to drop down here, You can take a look at that that mouth and that inner mouth going on there. The two arms are actually come separate and are magnetically attached, but the detailing is just fantastic. Paint applications on those talons is amazing, with that almost gold bronze look where they join the hands. The detailing on the arms themselves with those ribbed sections, all with that wet look paint application. There's that piping there on the back with those zebra stripes which pop, they really do under this light. And then there's the head sculpt as well, pretty much the same as the swap out head sculpt for the guy on top, but level of detailing, next level stuff even for a piece this old. I think it's phenomenal. Let's move up and take a look at the main event, the warrior on top. And yeah, wow. You won't often hear Mr. Go Figure lost for words, but this is one of those occasions. Starting with that tail is superb, all one piece. That tail, once again, super high gloss finish, and it pegs in around the back there. With really the seam lines on this are very, very good. The way it's been designed is that because the tail is segmented itself, it's given XM that opportunity to actually conceal the join there in the segment section, which works really, really well. So unless you're looking for it, you won't spot it. Moving up, arms, once again, superb paint applications here. Those digits, once again, you've got those subtle zebra stripes in there. The whole thing covered with this wet gloss finish, which is phenomenal. Those spikes on the elbows, zebra stripes on the piping on the back, which are all attached individually. And then you come to this head sculpt. Now, as I mentioned before, I'm at a push to really decide which one of these two head sculpts I think is the best. I think I love them both. As I said, this is more in keeping with the 79 alien concept, and you've got that translucent dome with that almost, well, it looks like some kind of insect underneath there. Super high gloss, super smooth, super translucent. That hints of brown in there, and it just looks wonderful. Really, really wonderful. This is going to turn into a gush fest, and I make no apologies for it. So yeah, that's the left aspect of this beast. So let's take a look at it from the back. Okay folks, so round the back, and this is an odd camera angle because Mr. Go Figure is literally having to hang at 90 degrees here so I can shoot this. Due to its size and this table that I've got it on, I simply can't swing it round 360 degrees, unfortunately. So if there is any shake or wobble to the camera work here, accept my apologies. But yeah, first thing that you're greeted with round the back is this removable grid and a little Easter egg that is tucked away underneath here. And if I can get my hand in without dropping this while holding the camera, it will be nothing short of a miracle. Yeah, you are greeted with a little Jonesy, a little tiny Easter egg tucked away in the bottom there behind that grill. It's not the best paint applications and sculpt in the world. It's a nice little addition, but yeah, looks like a bit of an afterthought, to be honest, by XM Studios. But yeah, nice idea anyway, and that tucks away in there, and you can cover it up with that grill. But the back itself, let's take a look at some of those details. That's the sort of derelict-esque shape that's attached to the back there, and you've got a vertical one going on. Well, it's sort of halfway between the shape of one of the protrusions on the derelict and almost echoing the alien head as well. But the back itself, I'll just pull back a little bit here, is beautifully done, as you can see. It those same sculpt and paint applications are continued all the way around this sort of well, I was going to say it's spherical back, but it splits into two. It joins and then splits into two, and as you can see, if I can get in here, if the light will pick this up, you can actually see inside here is hollow, and all those paint applications are continued on the inside as well. So yeah, they've been extra thorough here, XM, with getting those details. So pull back a little bit, you can get an idea of the shape from behind as well, and it is phenomenal. A huge piece, most of the weight being at the back. And then yeah, you get that obviously that tail swooping round, those two protrusions on there, and that's pretty much it from the back. So let's have a look at this boy from the left hand side. Okay folks, left hand side of this beast, that intricate work on the diorama section there is continued around the right hand side. That's the other side of that protrusion that I was talking about, and once again those gold and silver paint applications are continued. The sculpt is absolutely flawless. The level of detailing is just next level here, it really is. That gold paint application continues, and if I could probably level any complaint at this piece at all, it's not the gold color itself, because I think that works, as I mentioned before, as a contrast to the aliens themselves. I think it could have been done ever so slightly better. It looks a tad haphazard in places to me, but that's just me. But from a distance, you really don't notice that, and it serves that purpose really well. As I say, of accentuating and contrasting against the aliens themselves. This is the right-hand arm of that alien, yeah, you can see there that level of paint application is continued there, and the sculpting, that super high gloss finish, those rib sections are all beautifully done. If we get inside here, you can see the other side of the head. It's slightly off at an angle there while it's being trodden on, but you get another view inside from this hole down here. And this is the great thing about this piece as well. From any angle, there's something to look at. There's a shed load of detailing going on, and there is something that catches your eye new every time you look at it. And up to the alien warrior on top as well. Now, this aspect I don't think is quite as dynamic, unfortunately, and I think that's just down to the fact that that right arm is hanging down, whereas the left one is reaching forward, and also the fact that the tail is swooping behind these protrusions, so it just doesn't look quite as dynamic. So I'm going to be displaying it with a slight leaning to the right, because it's I think sort of straight on, it doesn't really capture the dynamism here of this particular piece, the energy and the flow, and that's what really captures my imagination with this piece, is the whole energy of the design itself. But yeah, you get to see the other side of the alien body there. That rib cage is really well done. Those shoulder pads, for want of a better expression, the painting on there is gorgeous, it really is, and the side of that head. This gives you an idea of the kind of detailing they've gone into here with that extended jaw, the sections that are holding the jaw together, but you can see through, the extending mouthpiece, paint applications once again stunning, and level of detail is just fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So let's get him square on again and go in for final thoughts on this guy. Okay folks, so time for a final verdict on XM Studios' take on the Alien Warrior and the Diorama. Where to begin? Let's start with the concept of this piece. Now I've got to say, I was a little bit dubious about it, but now I'm looking at it and I've got it in hand. I think the concept is phenomenal. I think, and we mentioned at the top there, what XM have done here is they've taken a certain amount of artistic license. They've combined elements from the original Alien film, from the Aliens film, and they've sort of melded it together with a huge dollop of artism to come up with this whole design concept, and I think it is wonderful. I think the energy, the flow is superb. I think the diorama base with those echoes of the alien derelict, but with their own spin added to it, are great. I think it was a bold move to go for two aliens this way. Well, an alien and a half to have one stepping on the other. I mean, I can imagine that being discussed over the boardroom table, and some people looking slightly sideways at that one. What, one stepping on another? That's not going to work in a statue, but it does. It actually does work really well, and it adds to that energy of the piece. I think the sculpt itself can't be faulted, and how they've seamlessly blended in both the 79 Alien and Cameron's Aliens as well. As we mentioned before, we've swapped out the head here for the Alien Warrior head, the Alien's head, so you can get an idea of how that looks on the piece, and both work superbly well. But yeah, energy can't be faulted. The flow, superb. I think it's one of the most dynamic third scale statues I've ever seen. Paint applications are absolutely 100% nailed on both the aliens here, and probably herein lies my only minor niggle, and we've mentioned it a few times, and that is the gold paint application on the actual base itself. Now, as I mentioned before, I do like the idea, and it's not the colour that bothers me, because I think it adds a wonderful contrast in the way the light plays off it against that super high gloss sheen of the aliens. It's just in some places it does look just a little bit haphazard, a little bit slapdash, but you've got to get up close for that. But overall, I think they have done a superb job here. I think it is entirely unique, and for a piece that's as old as this is, I mean, it's not that old, it's not ridiculously old, but yeah, I think it still stands up today as something entirely unique, and as a centerpiece to my alien collection. I couldn't be happier. I am so glad to finally have it, and so glad to finally see it up close and personal. So there you have it, folks. So I suppose it's verdict time. Now this is a tough one, because as regulars to the channel will know, Mr. Go Figure tends to focus more on 6 1/4 scale action figures. I do have a number of statues in the collection, tend to lean more towards quarter scale. This is the first 3rd scale piece, but I'm going to have to say on this one, everything is there, absolutely nailed on. The only minor niggle on, I would give this a 10. However, I think I'm going to take some points off that gold paint application. Not a huge amount. I think we'll go with a point, maybe half a point. Let's go with half a point. That feels comfortable. Let's go with a 9.5. I think that 0.5 only just for that, as I say, the way that gold paint has been applied. But overall, yeah, I think this is a simply stunning piece, completely unique, and I am so happy to have it in the collection. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, a huge thank you to Narin Ergodom and the team over there at XM for producing this amazing piece. And as well, a huge thank you out to Keith for letting me become custodian of it. So yeah, there you have it, folks. That's XM Studios' take on the Alien Warrior Diorama. What are your thoughts on this piece? Do you have this in your collection? Do you collect 3rd scale statues? What are your thoughts on Alien? What are your thoughts on Aliens? What are your thoughts on anything at all? Nothing is off menu, so please drop a comment in the comment section below. I'd be fascinated to hear your take on this piece. And what's coming up on the channel? Well, in the 6 scale world, we have a raft of new figure reviews and retro reviews coming in. We've got stuff from Hot Toys, from In Art, from Pure Arts, from Susu Toys, Present Toys, Caustic Plastic, Exo6, the list goes on. And we have more episodes of Grail or Fail, more episodes of Don't Make Me Choose, more showcases. Yeah, there's a boatload of stuff coming up. So as I mentioned at the top there, please be sure to mash that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you're not missing anything. And I suppose all it remains for me to say, it's from Exo6's take on the Alien Warrior and myself. Look after yourselves, happy collecting, a massive thank you for watching, and it's over to the showcase.